Hello everyone. It's been a hot minute since I have uploaded on this channel. I've usually just been doing stuff with my gaming stuff lately, but today I actually have something that I want to do a video on. I'm going to try to make this as to the point and brief as I can, but I want to do some things with this. So today we're going to be talking about this kit right here. The DeWalt Xtreme Subcompact brushless two-tool combo kit. It is a 12-volt kit. I just bought this at Lowe's yesterday. I have not used it yet, but I do commercial HVAC. I am a commercial HVAC apprentice, and I needed some tools. And this was a cheap kit. Came with, we'll get into what it comes with, but it was a cheap kit. I got it from Lowe's. It was $149, and for what you get with this kit, I think it's a decent deal. So we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna look at what it offers, what it gives you, and on top of that, we're just gonna do like some slight comparisons with the 20-volt kits, because I do have a personal 20-volt kit that I don't use for work, and maybe in like a month or so, I'll do an update and see how they hold out, how they do, so on and so forth. But anyway, let's move over to my table over here and we'll see what's in here. Alright, so we're going to start with the first thing that this kit comes with is a little bag. It's small. It's supposed to hold it held everything that came with it, but a bag, I have some stuff in here. Bag. So that's what comes first. Obviously your paperwork for your drill and your impact. You have the 12-volt brushless drill and belt clip. It's pretty neat. 2 speeds, chuck, all the way up to 15. Obviously your selectors. Your light is down here. So get the drill. Impact. This is a dual speed impact, or actually, I guess technically 3 speeds. My camera will focus on that. Screw drive, which is very slow, low and high. Selectors. You have 3 lights here. We'll look at this when I put the batteries in them, but it's just like showing what's in the kit. You get 2. What are these? 2 amp hour 12-volt batteries. I actually really like these batteries. They're very tiny, but I like how they unclip. Just get 2. Sorry about the creaky chair. And a charger, which, unlike, so I have a Milwaukee charger back here. I don't know if you can see this. This is, I'm not the biggest fan of DeWalt tools, but this is really cool. So this Milwaukee charger only does the M12s, because I have an M12 drill. So the only thing that this does is this. That's it. When you slap that in there, it can't do anything else. Because Milwaukee's M12s are obviously different than the M15s. This charger is the exact same as that charger, which came with our 20-volt kit. So you can charge whatever batteries you want. You can charge these batteries, which are the little 12-volt batteries. See, sits right in there, pop it right out. Or I have my 20-volt stuff right here. Pop this thing off, and charges the 20s too, which from a consumer standpoint is awesome, because you can charge basically anything DeWalt has with that battery charger, which is cool. But everything right here, okay, was $150, which is a good deal, no matter what. Like, if you want to argue power for tools and so on and so forth, that's a different story, but for what I need to set some screws, open an air handler case, open a mini split case, this is like, I felt like I stole this with what's here. So we're going to get into not necessarily a comparison, because obviously, you know, a 12 volt and a 20 volt tool are two different things. They're not going to do the exact same thing. They're not meant to. But we're going to kind of look at the applications, I guess you could say, of these two tool sets that I have, just because I think it's a good idea for if somebody's looking to figure out what to buy. Because obviously they're different. They're going to be different. You know, it's almost like, it's like a fork and a spoon. You know, a fork does one thing, a spoon does one thing. Doesn't mean one is worse than the other. They're just two different things. That's kind of what is here in this kit. And I'm actually going to, we're going to do a little bit side by side, just like look at them. But I'm also going to take you outside. We're just going to drive some screws, because why not? And I'm going to take off some panels on my mini split, because that's what I bought this for. So you'll see that, like, you know, it might even be more suited to that, in my opinion, because you can very easily strip screws out. And with something that has like slightly lower power, like I know for a fact, because I used to work at a hospital, that, and they gave us these impacts. These things have balls. These things have a lot of balls, and we would strip screws out that were old, because the hospital's like 100 years old, all the time with this thing, no matter what power setting you put it on. Even like the lowest, which is like the screw, it would really fuck some screws up. And this impact right here, which is basically what I bought this kit for, has, we'll get into this a little bit. I'm going to change the camera angle, we'll get into this before I get a little too ahead of myself. Alright, so the first thing we're going to chat about is battery size. So this is your 20 volt battery. It's obviously way bigger than this one, but in the application that I want to use this in, it's more beneficial, because I can get this battery into way tighter spots than I can get this one. This battery's huge, you know, like, it's not a bad thing. It's meant to be huge. It's a big battery. It's a 20 volt, 4 amp hour battery. It's supposed to be big. It's supposed to it's supposed to provide a lot of power. Whereas this one is more just, you're using the tool for what the tool is used for. You're using the tool to be your impact and do your tasks. Whereas this is like, I need to drive a screw all the way to China. And that's kind of the whole point of this. So that's the battery comparison. See how big they are. You know, again, this isn't saying that this is better than this and this is better than this. This is more of just like, hey, I'm going to use this for this application and use this for this application. So like my plan is, because like I said, I'm an apprentice. I'm not a full-fledged tech yet. When I do get a truck, I'm probably going to get some form of 20 volt kit to put on my truck, because then that's for bigger applications. Like if we're driving, you know, bolts into concrete, there's no way I'm using this. It's just not going to do it. This will. That's the point. You know, they're two different tools for two different applications. So there's the batteries. Now we're going to look at the tools themselves. So here we have the two drills. They are, for all intents and purposes, the same tool, but this one is smaller. The battery's smaller, obviously. The tool is smaller. And then this is larger because, and this is also a hammer drill, I think. This is meant for bigger applications and different applications than this. So you can see how, just look at the comparison. Like height-wise, this is the 12, this is the 20. You know, they are, I'd say it's like 3/4 the size. But, you know, that doesn't mean it's not useful. You can definitely use it for certain things. And size-wise, this can get into tighter spots than this because it's smaller. It's obviously going to have less power, but, you know, you can get to smaller spots. And then here are the impacts. Same thing, 20, 12. You know, basically the same thing. It's basically, so if you want to think about it this way, this is this thing's kid brother. And they can do roughly the same things, but this one's just going to be slightly weaker, and, you know, that's fine. Because that's the point. But the lights on these are different though. See how this has like, it has like a hollow light kind of, if that makes any sense, where like this entire thing is lighted, whereas this just has the 3 lights. I think these ones might be brighter. Yeah, they definitely are. But, you know, it's the same tool, just different powers for different applications. It doesn't mean one's worse, doesn't mean one's better. This one's going to be better for bigger applications. This one's going to be better for smaller applications. And I bought this one for that because I don't need a massive impact yet for doing things. This is more for taking the case off of, you know, an air handler, or, you know, setting one screw in the wall or something like that. It's not meant for driving, you know, bolts into concrete. That's what we would use this guy for. And I forgot to mention, as you can tell, if this will focus, Xtreme Subcompact. It doesn't want to focus for whatever reason. Come on. Xtreme Subcompact. It's meant to be tiny. And then these are your settings for this. So right now we're on setting 3, which is the fastest. We go down to 1, which is screw. It's slow. You use like a screwdriver. 2. It's like medium. Back to 3. So, and then if you want to compare that to this, so we'll start at screw. This one's probably a little faster. Go to 2. 3. It's got much more power, is much faster. Same thing with the drill, which is... Is that on drill? Hold on. Yeah, it's on. That's speed 1. Speed 2. And then with this, it's also on drill, I think. Yes. We're on speed 1. It's obviously a little slower. Speed 2. Decently fast. So yeah, they're just different applications. Something you need a smaller tool for, and something you don't need as much power for. So you use these for, and more compact. So the reason that I would pick something like this over something like this at this point in time is because if you've never been like climbing up and down ladders, you wouldn't really quite realize what weight does when you're going up and down ladders, and this is considerably lighter than this. And, you know, if I just need to pop a case off something, I'd rather have this in my bag or my pouch than this thing. Like this is easily maybe like 1.5 pounds, maybe 2 pounds heavier than this. And like I said, power. You know, I don't want to strip screws. A lot of the times when you're working in a commercial application, even residential, a lot of the stuff is really rotted and really old. So with something like this where it's a little bit of lower power, it should be easier to on the physical screw, and shouldn't strip it out. But you also may have the issue where it's not strong enough to pop something off that's really rusted, which, you know, is what it is. You can definitely figure that out in the field, figure it out. I have other tools that I can use if I need to do that. But this should do the job. So I'm going to take you outside. We're going to go, I have a 4x4, just going to drive some screws. We're going to use all 4 of these tools, drive some screws, and then I'm going to drill some holes. Again, it's not, hey, this is better than this. It's the application of, excuse me, this is a different tool. This is used for one purpose. This is a tool that's used for another purpose. And hopefully the demonstration will show the difference in those and be able to tell you or show you. So if you are looking into buying this kit and you're on the fence of buying a 20 or 12 volt, you can see, okay, this is what the 12 volt is capable of, and this is what the 20 volt does. What do I need? That's more of what I'm trying to make this video of. It's not, it really isn't like, hey, this one's better, this is a 12 volts better. No, obviously they're different. My preference, as I keep saying, is a slightly lower power option for what I need to do, because I don't want to strip screws out. I don't want to, you know, blow a screw out of a case. A good example is putting screws into ductwork. When you put screws into ductwork, essentially the screw taps itself, and if you over torque the screw, over tighten it, it strips. With something like this, it's harder to do that because it's lower power. Compared to, I've done it plenty of times. My lead technician usually uses a Milwaukee, which we're not going to get into that debate. A tool's a tool, guys. Relax. But with something like this, it is like, just listen to it. You know, I'm on 3-speed. It's cranking. Even on 2, it's fast. You are gonna drive that screw. You're gonna strip that out in seconds. Even you're not gonna get a screw to tap with the screw attachment, or a screw mode rather. Whereas something like this, we're on high. It's a little slower, so it might take a little bit more to tap the screw, but you'll probably have a lower chance of stripping that screw out. You'll be able to drive and be like, oh, we're good. And even if you have an issue with that, you have a lower speed that should hopefully help with that. So that's the whole point with buying this kit, and this is my intentions behind this. And if people are interested in trying to figure out what they need and what their applications are, hopefully I can help you guys figure that out. So like I said, we're gonna go outside. I'm gonna put my 4x4 up, and we'll showcase the power and differences between these, and you can make your decision on if you want to buy the 12 or the 20. Alright, start with drills. We're going to do the 20 volt first. We're going to be doing, hold on. A 3/8, and then a 5/32 for each. We'll do 3 holes, so 6 in total with each tool. Alright, 20 volt. That's fast. Oh, hit a knot or something. It's quick. $20 volt with the big drill bit. Woo, hot. And little drill bit. Decently fast. It's hot as hell. So big drill bit barely fits in this. But yeah. It's about what I expected. So this thing doesn't like big drill bits, as we can tell. So as long as you go slow, it's pretty fine. Oh, we're smoking. The hole, not the drill. Alright. So it'll do it. We're also down 1 battery power. It will do it, I just don't like it. Small bit. I'm feeling this one will go a lot smoother. Yep. Yep. So, anything small, it'll do no problem, which I already figured. Anything large, doesn't like, which I also figured. But, you know, that's fine. So, if you want to do big holes, big drill, little holes, little drill, which is, it's about par for the course. That's what I was saying downstairs. Alright, so now we're going to try some screws. I have 1¼ inch construction screws. They're star bits. These are all I have. And then I have some 3-inch, same thing, star bits. I'm going to use the 20 volt first. I will not be going in pre-drilled holes, if it makes people feel better. push this down a little bit because the pre-drills were over here, because I watch enough tool stuff to know that people cry about that. So we're gonna go here, 20 volt, no problem. Oh, I buried that one good. We'll do 1.25 inches, no problem. And then 3-inch. No problemo. Oops. No problemo. Oops. Cammed out. No problem. So, all this right here. Alright. 12 volt. Only difference with these is obviously the battery size and tool size, and I'm just using a different bit because this is the bits I bought to use with this. But go. It's a little slower, but not much of a difference. Still does the job. Definitely don't bury it as fast, which is kind of the point. Doing the 3-inch screws. Okay. So, 12 volt. So with the screws, obviously there's a power difference. 20 volt, I buried all of them, which, you know, they were both on 3-speed, or the highest speed rather. That's kind of the point of that. The 12 did not bury. I buried these two just to try to see how far I could go with them. But I actually kind of like that. That's kind of the point. Like, I don't want to strip screws out, stuff like that. So something like this is for the application that I prefer. It's what I want. You know, it's the whole point of the tool is to not bury screws, strip screws, do things like that, which the big drill and the big impact will do. But I mean, that's also their point, is to do heavy duty tasks. This is not for that. So next we're gonna go over to my mini split. I'm gonna take the covers off and we'll see how these things do with that. All right, so mini split, we're just gonna take some screws out. That is the whole reason I bought this tool, is to do stuff like this. But we're gonna start with the 20 volt, and I'm just gonna pop this one, and this one, to see how easy they come out. They're 5/16. I also got this flip socket from Lowe's for DeWalt, so we're gonna, well, that's not good. Right off the bat, it doesn't want to go on. Well, there we go. So we're also going to kind of test this. So let's do it. Just making sure the camera's good. That one came out in 2 seconds, and we'll torque it down. This one, very fast. Torque it down. A little too fast, if I'm honest. This case, screw, very fast. And I don't know if you can see that, but this one's now spinning. And I can unscrew this with my fingers if I really wanted to. The whole point of this being a little overpowered is for something like that. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad tool, but, you know, that's why I want something a little smaller for purposes like that, where it won't overdo the screws. So we're gonna come on this side now. So just for a fair test, because I mean, not really a test, because we all know what's gonna happen. I already took these out. We're gonna do these ones. So very quick and easy. Didn't over tighten. Also didn't over tighten. I don't know if you guys can see that one, but also did not over tighten. So we'll go back downstairs, we'll talk more, but this feels a lot better than this, because this just has a lot of power compared to this, which the whole point I bought this is for the lower power, and so I don't break things, where like I literally kind of just broke a bolt. Not really, but you know, on this one. So that's that. We're gonna head downstairs, I'm gonna share my thoughts, and then I'll let you guys go. So just got done with testing, well, demonstration, whatever you want to call it. So my closing thought on the kit for the 12 volt. I think this is, I mean, this is very limited, very small, you know, amount of tests, but I think that this is a very good kit for the money, and B, a very good kit for particular applications. I more or less proved my point while I was doing the mini split screws. I stripped one out while using the 20 compared to the 12, which was a little bit gentler, and that's the whole point of why I bought this kit, apart from the price, because I mean $150 for 2 tools, 2 batteries, charger, bag, like you can't beat that. But you know, this is, for the application that I'm going to use it for, this is perfect. That is not saying that one tool is better than the other. That is not saying that this is better than the 20. No, no, no. You guys got to think that everything has a purpose. Every tool is meant for something. Every tool does a job. This tool's job is to not be a heavy-duty drill and driver. This tool's job is to be a lighter-duty drill and driver, which is what I need and what I'm going to use it for, and that's perfect for me. Is that not maybe perfect for you? That's fine. You can get the 20 volt. As long as you understand what you're buying, I think this is good for what you need. It drove screws fine. They're a little slower. It's normal. The only thing that I was not impressed by was this drill with the 3/8. I kind of expected it to be that slow, or 5/8. I don't remember exactly what it was. I did not expect it to completely bind. Like there was a couple times where it just stopped and chucked out in my hands. I did not expect that. But once I pulled it back, refed it into the hole, went a little slower, it was fine. Apart from that, it is a drill. It does its job. It's a little slower. You're probably not going to go through concrete or anything with this, but it's not meant to do that, so don't try it. The driver fits all the bills. Drove screws fine. Obviously a little slower, but on the other hand, again, for my application, I buried the screws basically every time with the 20 volt when I didn't mean to, because it just so fast. Done. So with this, I don't really want to bury screws like that, especially when it comes to like sheet metal. You don't want to do that because, as I said earlier, it'll strip it out and then the screw's basically useless. So I'm rambling a little bit, but I believe this is a great kit for smaller and lighter applications. You know, for myself, going on rooftops, popping cases open, driving some screws into walls to hang mini splits, line sets, you know, stuff like that. It's great. This drill for pre-drilling holes for certain things, great. If I needed to bolt something down into concrete, I'm not using this. I didn't expect to use this. I didn't expect to use this for that application when I bought it. I knew what I was getting myself into. So, as I said prior, if you understand what you're buying and you realize that this is not heavy duty, it's lighter duty, you're fine, as long as you're using it for lighter duty purposes. If you buy this expecting it to be a 20 volt drill, it's not going to happen. That's not the point. I will also say, oh, well, now it's back to full, but when I was doing this, when I was drilling the holes with this, the battery gauge dropped to 2, and now it's back up to full. I think it might just be because it was under load, and this one is also full. So I only did a little bit, so that's expected. But so the batteries seem okay. It's not like the batteries that I got, at least, are trash. But we'll see. I'm gonna probably do an update to this in a couple months and see how I feel about these and see if I still like them. Right now I like them. I didn't use them much, which, you know, that could change. I could go on a rooftop and go to use it, and it could break in my hands. Who knows? We'll see. But for right now, my opinions, my unprofessional opinions, or I guess my professional opinions because I am in a trade, is this is good for whatever application you apply it to, as long as it is appropriate. As long as you don't try to do too heavy of duty with these, you'll be fine. It might be a little slower, but you know, it's a 12-volt tool. That's normal. Even like the Milwaukee 12 volts, you know, they have power, but you know, they're not going to do the same thing that the 18-volt Milwaukees do. That's just how it works. But anyway, that's it. I hope this video was helpful. It might be a little lengthy because it was a little more in depth, but I hope this video was helpful for people. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, give it a comment, let me know. Yell at me about buying yellow tools. Trust me, I yell about myself because I usually like Milwaukee, but this was a good deal. I needed to buy some other things with this. Spent $200 on this and some bits and stuff like that. Got everything I need. Whereas if I just bought the Milwaukee Impact, it would have been $150 on its own with no batteries, no chargers. So I went yellow. Not gonna lie, it's a good deal. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm done. Peace out.